Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Tuesday. So we are continuing on today with Unit 11, Lesson 5, which is on page 145 in your student journal. So today we are still working on intervals, time intervals, but we are solving word problems with them. So your objective today is I will solve word problems involving time intervals. So just a quick review down here, we know that a time interval is the period of time between two events. There are 60 minutes in 1 hour and 24 hours in a day. And then these are the equations that we are going to use today to solve. So if you are looking for the ending time, okay, let's say they give you a starting time and they say it's going to end at this time, okay? You do the starting time plus how much longer that activity is going to take in order to find the ending time, okay? And then the equation to find the time interval is your ending time, so what time something finished at, minus what time you started at, and that's how long that's going to take. That's the difference. That's that interval of time between your ending time and your starting time, okay? So we're going to go over this in a minute, so it will make a lot more sense when you actually see it when we have a word problem. And just a quick review, yes, you have these starting and ending times, but you have to remember to use your strategies that we talked about previously in order to solve for this. So some of our strategies were doing addition or subtraction problems. Okay, that was like in the very first lesson where we talked about strategies to solve for time intervals where you would either add on or subtract. Okay, the other thing that we did was we used a number line. Okay, then we found time intervals jumping on a clock, so we would either jump forward or jump backwards. Okay, so you can find time intervals, or we used our mountains, our hills, and our boulders, and then our little pebbles. This was 1 hour, our hill was 10 minutes, our boulder was 5 minutes, and our little rocks were 1 minute. So those are the different ways that we can solve once we place our numbers in here, what we know and what we want to find out. Okay, so let's get started. So it says up here, Nancy went to the park at 4 o'clock. She played for 35 minutes. What time did she leave the park? So let's see, what do we know here? She went to the park at 4 and she played for 35 minutes. And we're looking for the time that she left. So let's fill in our boxes. We know that she went to the park starting at 4. So that's my starting time. Plus my amount of time. So how long was she at the park for? How long did she play? She played for 35 minutes. So I'm going to go like this because I know that this is my minutes. Okay, I had no hours here. So what time did she start? Plus how much more time did she play? And then what's my ending time? Okay. Well, we know that there are different strategies that we can use to solve this. I think the easiest strategy for this particular problem, especially because we are on the hour, okay, we're not adding any hours on, so we're still in the hour of 4. And I know that 0 plus 35 minutes gets me to 4:35. 4:35. 4 o'clock plus 35 minutes on my clock will get me to 4:35. We can even take a look at that. If I were to draw a clock, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 4 o'clock, right? And then we know that she was at the park playing for 35 minutes. Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. We know that that is 4:35. So that's another way for me to check my work. Okay, you could also do this on a number line. Your starting time is at 4, and we're going to hop by 5-minute intervals. 4:05, 4:10, 4:15, 4:20, 4:25, 4:30, 4:35. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 minutes. Okay, so there are many different ways that you can solve for this, and this one was pretty easy because we started right on the hour. So all you have to do is add on 35 minutes, 4:35, okay? For number 2, Rita began her swim lesson at 3:15. Okay, so that was her starting time. Her lesson ended at 4:51. And we're wondering, how long was her lesson? Okay, so let's look at this. She began her lesson at 3:15. So that was her starting time, her ST, her starting time. So the starting time is 3:15. What time did her lesson end at? Well, her ending time was 4:51. And we want to know how long her lesson is. So we're looking for that time interval, okay? The difference between 3:15 when she started and 4:51 when she ended. So these numbers are a little bit tricky, aren't they? We have 51 minutes here. So I think what I'm going to do for this problem is I'm going to use my mountain, hill, boulder, and pebble strategy. I really like that. So we can either go backwards from 4:51 back to 3:15, or we can go from 3:15 up to 4:51, right? You know, when you're finding the difference, it doesn't matter which time you go to find that missing part. So I'm going to start at 3:15. I think it's easier to start at 3:15, start at my starting time, and I want to work my way up to 4:51, okay? So 3:15, I'm going to put an hour here, okay? So 3:15 plus an hour gets me to 4:15. Remember, I'm trying to get to my ending time at 4:51. 4:15, now I'm going to start going by 10, so I'm going to start counting by my hills. So 10 minutes, 15 minutes plus 10 minutes gets me to 4:25 because 15 plus 10 is 25. So 4:25. We're not there yet, so I'm going to go another 10, which is going to get me to 4:25 plus 10 minutes is 4:35. Still not there. Another 10 minutes is going to get me to 4:35 plus 10 is 4:45. Okay, we're getting closer. So I can no longer go 10 minutes, right? So I'm going to hop 5 minutes now. I'm going to do a little boulder, and my boulder is going to get me to 4:50 because 45 minutes plus 5 is 4:50. And now all I need is one little rock to get me to 4:51. So I'm going to add up all of this because that's going to give me my time interval. That's going to tell me how long her practice was. So I have an hour and 10 minutes, an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes, an hour and 35 minutes, an hour and 36 minutes. So 1 hour and 36 minutes was her time interval. So I'm going to actually write 1 hour and 36 minutes, okay? So when it says a time interval, that means you're telling them how much time has passed. So in this case, it was 1 hour and 36 minutes. And if you wanted to just write that in minutes, well, what could you do? We need to do some conversions. So how many minutes are in 1 hour? How many minutes are in 1 hour? We know that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. Okay, and then how many additional minutes? 36. So 0 plus 6 is 6, and 6 plus 3 is 9. So you can either say 1 hour and 36 minutes, or you can say 96 minutes, okay? All right, let's move on. So let's go ahead and do this together, okay? Let's see what we can do here. So we know that Robert started practicing the piano at 3:15. He practiced for 27 minutes. what time did he finish practicing at? Okay, what time did he finish? So we're going to do our ST, our starting time. Okay, our starting time, which was 3:15. Okay, then we're going to do our amount of time, how long he practiced. We're going to add on 27 minutes. Okay. And then that is going to tell us our ending time. So that's going to tell us what time Robert finished practicing the piano at. So I want you to use a strategy that works best for you. So if you have a different strategy, that's fine. You might want to draw a clock at 3:15 and then start hopping until you get to 3:27, or sorry, until you hop 27 minutes. Okay, that might work for you. I think what I'm going to do is, let's see here. I can do 15 plus 27. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do 3:15 plus 27 minutes. This is how I'm going to solve. Okay, let's see what I get here. 7 plus 5. I'm going to wait for you because we're doing this together. So you should get 12. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 1 more is 4. And then we have no extra hours here, so 3 plus 0 hours is 3. And that should get us to a time of 3:42. So if Robert started practicing at 3:15, he finished, or he played for 27 minutes, and I add that on to my 15 minutes, I would get to 3:42, okay? And then last one. Noah's soccer team started practicing at 5, and they ended at 5:53. How long was their practice? Okay, so I know for this I'm going to start with my ending time. So my ending time was 5:53, ending time, minus my starting time. Well, they started at 5 o'clock. And then I want to know my time interval. So I want to know how long this practice was. Well, I see something easy here. I basically have 5:53 minus 5 o'clock. I have 53 minutes. Okay. So what, 5:53 minus 5. We're basically thinking if he started practice at 5 and he ended at 5:53, how long was that? Let's find out. I'm going to just do my hills. I'm going to start doing intervals of 10. I'm going to jump 10s. 10 minutes gets me to 5:10. Another 10 gets me to 5:20. Another 10 gets me to 5:30. Another 10 gets me to 5:40. Another 10 gets me, let me make this a little longer. Another 10 gets me to 5:50. That's 50 minutes. Plus 1, 2, 3. 1, 1, 1. Plus 3 minutes gets me to 5:53. 5:10, 5:20, 5:30, 5:40, 5:50, 5:51, 5:52, 5:53. So we're going to add up all of this time to find the difference. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 51, 52, 53. How many minutes is that? 53 minutes. So your time interval, his practice, lasted 53 minutes, which you probably knew in your head, huh? Because from 5:53 minus 5 o'clock, that's going to give you 53 minutes, right? So I want you to try the rest by yourself. Look at your equations that are on your vocabulary page. Plug them in and use the strategy that works for you. And we can talk about this at office hours if you need some support. All right? Good luck and have fun.